26th end of the school year press conference. It's just an opportunity for all of us to get together and talk about the collaboration that the entire Las Vegas and Clark County law enforcement community do to keep our students safe during the school year and then as they transition into summertime. So joining us here today, we've got representatives from the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department, the City of Henderson, and the Clark County Juvenile Justice. We might have some other speakers showing up as we go along due to their arrival time. So again, once again, I just want to reiterate to everybody about this is a collaborative effect, or a collaborative project that we do every year, to where we meet at the beginning of the school year, during the school year, and then at the end of the school year to discuss safety measures on our campuses and around our properties with our community partners. We work very hard in collaboration together. We have officers that are assigned to many of these departments throughout the year to assist them in different aspects, juvenile crime, gangs, and things like that. So we have a very tight collaboration, and we very pride ourselves on how well we all work together. Most of this was started through the School Violence Initiative a few years ago, and that kind of made it to where we all had better avenues of communications, to where we have points of contact within every department so that we can put these plans together. So some of the things that you'll notice, especially the last 3 days of school, which will start on Wednesday, is that you'll see an increase in different police officers on our campuses and police cars in and around our schools. It's not because anything bad has happened, it's just that this is what we do. We try to get as many boots on the ground as you were in the field as possible to make sure that there is a safe transition at the end of every single school day, and then as the kids leave on Friday, and then they go out into the community starting then. Also want to remind everybody that we do have a lot of summer programs that start pretty much right after school graduation, which will be this week and next week. We have summer school. We have a lot of programs at our elementary and middle schools to keep our students engaged and active and continuing to learn. So we just want to remind everybody that that is happening. And also, we just got word yesterday through our joint traffic task force that the flashing lights will be on all summer throughout the county to let everybody know that there are students on campus and that you do need to slow down and pay attention as you're driving through these school zones. And the last thing, I'll just remind everybody that we did have a larger number of students hit this year going to and from school, and we credit a lot of that to the fact of the collaboration between our partners in the community, that we are collecting more and more data. And we just want to remind everybody to slow down, pay attention, give our kids the chance to get to school, and give them the chance to get home so that they can, grow up and become fantastic citizens in our community. All right, and with that, I'm going to introduce Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department Deputy Chief Clarkson.
All right, good morning, everybody. I'm Brandon Clarkson, Deputy Chief of the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department. First of all, I'd like to thank all of our team here, our School Violence Initiative, Captain Jeff Clark, Captain Mayer. They've done a phenomenal job in working together to make sure that we have a great school year and then an end of school year as well. So it's hard to believe that we're coming to another end of another school year. As a parent myself with children in the Clark County School District, I understand the responsibility that we all share in making sure that our children are safe and our students are safe. It is important that everyone work together to cultivate a safe environment. That includes our educators, our students, our parents, and the community leaders at large. As we have done in previous years, we will have an increased police presence as the students arrive and leave school campuses. We will also have an increased presence around the valley and around the schools. We want parents to be aware of this and not to be concerned about the extra police presence. As you all know, Sheriff McMahill continues to make lowering traffic fatalities our Valley priority. For the parents and motorists driving around schools, I ask you to please slow down and pay full attention to the roadways. But I also want to talk about and urge all the parents to discuss the importance of all the traffic laws of riding a bicycle, an e-scooter, and an e-bike. It is the responsibility of the rider to understand and abide by all traffic laws while riding on the roadways. This means going with the flow of traffic, stopping at stop signs, and walking your bike or scooter across a crosswalk. Parents, please talk to your children and go over all of the laws of the road so we don't have any more loss of life of our young kids. As we look ahead into our summer months, we want to reinforce the commitment through vigilance and active involvement. As a parent, I understand it is important to know what my children are doing, what they're looking at on social media, and who they're spending their time with. I want you to be engaged. I want you to ask questions. And I want you to know where your children are at. Success in these efforts requires community support. It cannot be overstated how important your role is in this collective endeavor. We need you to be the eyes and ears. We need you to embrace the principle. If you see something, say something. If something doesn't look right, just please give us a call. And then lastly, I want to thank you all for your dedication to the safety of this community. I wish us all a happy, fun, and safe summer. Thank you. Oh, Captain Henderson.
Good morning. My name is Jim Dunlap. I'm a captain with the Henderson Police Department, and I just am here on behalf of the Henderson Police Department to express our gratitude for inviting us to this press conference, and also to let everyone know that the Henderson Police Department continues to collaborate with not only CCS DPD and Metropolitan Police Department and North Las Vegas Police Department to make our community safe. One message I'd like to express to the drivers out there, as Deputy Chief Clarkson reiterated: stay vigilant out there. There's going to be an increased presence of juveniles out there on the streets now that school is out. Pay attention to driving in your residential neighborhoods as well as the major roadways. Stay off your phones. Don't be a distracted driver. If you don't see somebody, you're probably not paying attention. A lot of the collisions that we're seeing is due largely in part to distracted drivers not seeing a hazard that has presented itself. Also, to the parents of children who have e-bikes and e-scooters, those children riding those bikes understand that they're interacting with our drivers on the roadway, and it's very easy for them to be involved in a collision because they don't necessarily understand the rules of the road as well. Make sure they're wearing helmets, and again, obeying all traffic safety rules and rules of the road as well. And again, to the larger community at whole, thank you for continuing to, if you see something, say something. If you see something that's not right, call 311, notify your local police department jurisdiction, and have an officer respond and investigate. And at the end of the day, we want to keep all of our citizens and all of our kids safe so that they can start the school year fresh next year. Thank you.
Thank you, sirs. And again, also just to remind everybody that Safe Voice continues to operate 24 hours a day, 7 days a week throughout the school year, no matter if the schools are in session or not. So anybody who needs to report anything anonymously can always do that through Safe Voice. There's links on the district website. You can actually download an app also in the App Store if you feel like you need to. We can go ahead and open the floor up for a few questions, and then if need be, we can also do some breakaways if you have specific questions you want to ask to a specific agency. And again, if we could focus these towards the end of the school year.
You mentioned that there was an increase in the number of students being hit by vehicles. How many students were hit this year versus last year? And also, are we seeing, what part of town are we seeing the most students being hit?
That map is currently being generated now. It's pretty close to being spread out across the valley. I don't want to speak to any jurisdictions yet because, like I said, that information's being looked at. I do believe as far as the incidents of kids being hit compared to last year, we're at 407 this year, and last year we were about 190. So, and again, we've been collaborating more with technology to capture more of that information. So it's not that we had that few last year compared to this year, we just maybe didn't capture as much of the information.
Obviously, we had the big incident that happened at Legacy High School not too long ago. I'm just curious as far as when it comes to protocol, because I think when a lot of parents hear that shots are fired on campus when students are in class, they're thinking that's not the safest thing that should be happening. So can you talk a little bit about that and kind of what you learned from that and what you do moving forward?
Yeah, so what happened at Legacy, everything that needed to happen from our perspective at the school happened. The school was put into a secure, meaning that the doors are shut so that no one can get in, and then it was transitioned into a lockdown while we made sure that the scene was safe. Every single CCSD employee carry a Centegix badge. For those of you who don't know, it's this little thing right here, so that if they see something or hear something on their campus, they can push this certain amount of times to get help. certain amount of times to put the school in a lockdown. It's automatic. We have it in our station here. I'm not going to demonstrate it now, but it automatically can either get help or put the school in a lockdown. And so that's what happened up there. Is they got the school secure as fast as possible. We had a lot of our units responded. A lot of people from North Las Vegas and Metro all responded to the area to take care of things as quickly as possible.
But as far as an officer shooting on campus,
As far as an officer shooting on campus, again, it's going to go into a lockdown. It's going to go into what we used to call hard lockdown, but now it's just a lockdown. That's where all the doors are secured inside the school. Teachers put, little things over the windows so that people can't look in, and then the kids are basically taught to duck and cover until we make sure that the scene is safe and that it's safe for the kids to come out. And then our goal again is to get those kids off campus as soon as possible and reunited with their parents. And so we always want to remind the community too that when a school goes into a secure or a lockdown, you show up at the school, you're locked out. So you may be actually putting yourself either in the way of first responders coming in, or you may be putting yourselves in harm's way if there's activity outside of the building, right? So we just don't know. So we always encourage parents, don't come to the school because we're not going to open the doors. We're not going to release your child to you, unfortunately, until we know that it's safe to do so.
so you're saying everything worked the way that
Everything worked the way that it should have. Yeah. We had a lot of collaboration from the local jurisdictions, and I believe as soon as we got the whole situation out, North Las Vegas started putting that information out as quickly as they could. They shared that with us so that our district communications could share that with the school community first, and then it goes out to the community. Yeah.
So I know that you were talking about the flashers. What time period will those flashers be on? And then July 1st is also the active school zone law that goes into place. What are we anticipating? Because I hear a lot of people in the community excited about this, especially since what we've seen with students.
Mhm.
However, their concern is that there's not enough ability to enforce it properly.
Yeah, well, whenever these new laws come out, there's always going to be an adjustment period as we, the law enforcement community, adjust to enforcing new laws, and then also the community gets used to being not forced to, but being needed to follow those laws. So there's going to be always that transition thing as we work through it. And then as far as there not being enough resources, I mean, it's just how it is. Unfortunately, we can't have 1,000 cops, out there as much as we'd like. So we'll just continue to collaborate together, get as many people out there as possible. Our motors team will be working throughout the summer in these new school zones especially, and I'm sure every other jurisdiction here will continue to put as many people out to deal with these traffic issues as possible. And we'll have somebody that can speak more into that after this too if you have specific questions about traffic.
So I also wanted to ask, you said in the last 3 days here, you're going to be increasing police officer presence here on campus. Can you explain why that's happening and what it is about the last few days?
It actually started last week. It's for the last 2 weeks of the school week. It's just because we have a lot of transition going on. Our high school students will be getting out of school the last 3 days early, so we don't want to just do our normal patrol beats as we have thousands and thousands of high school students leaving the valley. So that's why we asked for the increased presence from our community partners, because as they exit, we need help. Not to say that they're not there throughout the year also. We just ask that there be more of an emphasis at the beginning of the end of school year, especially at the beginning, because you have a lot of new people coming to school, and they have some issues. But then at the end of the school, just because it's the transition out, we feel it's better to have as many uniforms out there as possible.
And you had mentioned that the flashing lights will be going on as summer school happens.
Mhm.
Can you talk about what other safety measures being put in for summer school students?
So the same safety protocols that we have throughout the school year will continue on. Single points of entry. Once the kids, depending if there's busing or not, once the buses arrive, the exterior doors are all locked. So everyone who comes to that school is funneled through the main office through a vetting process with school staff. The staff members will also continue to have their Centegix badges. We have officers that actually work at the summer school sites, because not as many officers, like we'll have one officer assigned because it's a smaller population. And then our patrol officers, which are 12-month employees, will continue to patrol all of our district properties throughout the summer.
Are you able to state how much money the district provided for metal detectors or those weapon detectors, and also those panic buttons?
I can't. That's a different department, school safety, which is through a different department in the district. They handle all the metal detectors that they use at the special events.
I believe it was 2022. We were at the same time of the year we were having this press conference, and at that time the fights, it was getting out of control at schools. There were
Right. Well, we 2020, that was, as we were coming out of COVID, right? And so we had a lot of students that were going straight from middle school to high school. And so we just really noticed that there were a lot of fights, and it's definitely gone down. The numbers have gone way down compared to how they were back then. And we contributed a lot of that to officer presence on campus, kids maturing, getting older and understanding, school rules, things like that. And then also just the school staffs being more involved. Sending, a lot of schools have hired more campus security monitors, or they have their assistant principals and more people out and about on the campus, so that there's always adults walking around. And we know that when kids see adults, they're less likely to do something that they shouldn't do. Okay, a couple more, and then we'll do some breakaways.
I know we hear statistically that summer is when there's more youth crime because they're not in the classroom. What can the different jurisdictions talk about? What resources are available to make sure that the youth who are out are staying out of trouble and staying safe?
Well, that's a good question about youth staying safe through the summer, and I think it's obviously the collaborative effort between everybody. It's what the schools can offer, what the community centers offer, different activities, pushing that out. We have our community-oriented policing squads that are very engaged with our community. We push out, if you go to any of our Facebook pages, we push out a lot of information on some of the summer activities that we do, to include the community centers. As I mentioned, this is a collective effort with our parents, with our community leaders, talking about places and an outlet for kids to go, have fun, safe environment, supervised opportunities to do things. And I think that's where that engagement from the parents, from the communication between all the different jurisdictions to include all the community partners, I think that's where you see us excel in that safety, where kids have something to do. We want to give them somewhere to go other than hanging out, looking at social media, or being on their phones, being active and having fun and having that safe summer, I think.
Last night, CCSD board approved the budget for this upcoming school year. Part of that, there was $15 million for the school bus safety enforcement fund. Can you talk about what that all includes? Are you familiar with that?
No, I'm not, unfortunately. No,
Okay.
no, that's still a work in progress.
And then the other thing I was going to ask, obviously, Chief Blackeye announced his retirement. It'll take effect once the school year ends. Can you talk about when we can expect an interim to be announced and what that transition period is going to look like to be ready for the first day of school?
No, again, I can't speak onto that because that's being handled by the school district. So,
Direct it to us.
yeah, you can talk to communications afterwards.
Do you have one more quick
Yeah.
question? Are there any other violent incidents or spikes that you guys are looking into right now?
Don't believe so, other than what we normally have. And just one other thing to touch on about the legacy incident too. The response that was there was also due in great part to the collaborative training that we do with the other agencies, how we respond if there is an active event on one of our campuses, so that we all basically know what we're all going to do when we arrive. So it's not that CCSD arrives and we do what we do and Henderson or Metro shows up and do what they do. We train together. We have a cadre of people who teach together on how we do this, and they bring that information back to our department and train us, so that if, say, this group of people here, we were all the first people on scene, we would know how to work as a team and go in and deal with whatever that situation may be.
Are you able to break down just the different types of lockdowns and when you're in each of those, and in this situation, which one were you in? I'm assuming it's a hard lockdown.
Yeah, so basically we have a couple different ones. There's a secure. That's when there's something outside of the school, so staff will go and lock the outside door. So that would be if there was something in one of these jurisdictions, we're doing something in the community that might impact the school, but it's not impacted the school, if that makes sense. There's nothing going on the campus, so there's not a huge emergency to turn off the lights and everything. Then a lockdown, which we used to call our hard lockdown, is when there's an active something going on the campus, and it's so imperative that the teachers lock the doors that we don't worry about locking the front doors per se, because we want to get everybody in the building in a safe location. So the people in the front office would go and lock the front door that leads into their office, and then they would duck and cover. And the main thing with that is that we don't want staff running around campus trying to deal with situations, because law enforcement is on their way, and we don't want anybody to get in the way of what it is that we need to do. Then we'll form up in our teams, and we've really changed the process a lot, to where we used to wait until X amount of people showed up. Now it is the first person who arrives is the first person in the building. We don't wait. We've learned from past practices in other jurisdictions that that's not the best practice. So whoever arrives first, if it's one person, they go in by themselves. If it's 2 people, 3 people, 4 people, they form up in a team, and then they go in and start doing what they need to do.
And when it comes,
That'll be the last question.
Okay.
When it comes to the school flashers, have you guys done this before? And I guess why?
So in the past, I believe it was the city of Las Vegas would turn on their flashers, but then due to the increase and through the collaboration of the working group, the traffic coalition of the working group, best practices coming up with new ideas to try to curb a lot of this. And because we do have more summer programs going on now than we historically have in the past, we have more kids out there. So the push from the county is to have them all on throughout the county. Okay. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. Thank you all for coming. And again, we can do some breakout questions if you have specifics that we can address.
Thank you.
Yep.